Good morning. We have a number of judicial nominations and bills on today's agenda, and I will take the lead on holding all of them over. And we have a number of people that are appropriate for that to be done at this point. So these following nominations will be held over: Beatty, Ninth Circuit; Miller, Ninth Circuit; Murphy, Sixth Circuit; Riedler, Sixth Circuit; Reiching, Fourth Circuit; Alston, Eastern District, Virginia; Barber, Middle District, Florida; Barker, Northern District of Ohio; Berger, Middle District of Florida; Immergut, District of Oregon; Mazie, Northern District, Alabama; Morrison, Southern District of Ohio; Smith, Southern District of Florida; Wetherell, Northern District of Florida; and Herdling for federal claims. I want to address some of the complaints I've received from the other side about President Trump's decision to appoint Whitaker, acting AG. After all of the withering criticism lodged against former Attorney General Jeff Sessions over the past 2 years, I think it's very ironic that members are now distraught over former Attorney General Sessions' resignation last week. As far as the appointment of Matthew Whitaker, the Federal Vacancy Reform Act gives the President the authority to direct a senior official within DOJ to serve as the acting officer as long as that senior official served the agency for at least 90 days prior to appointment. The Vacancies Act works in tandem and is not inconsistent with the statute addressing DOJ's vacancies. And as we often do, relying on the Office of Legal Counsel, that office has now issued 3 separate legal opinions in the years 2003, 2007, and yesterday, confirming that the President can fill vacancies of Senate-confirmed agency heads under the Vacancies Act. In other words, President Trump acted in strict conformance with the law, and acting Attorney General Whitaker's appointment is legal. I have confidence that the acting Attorney General Whitaker will carry out the functions of the Justice Department to the best of his ability. In the meantime, I look forward to working with the President, and the sooner the better, on the confirmation efforts for whomever the President nominates. And although I will welcome a new nominee, the Senate is never a rubber stamp for any president and won't be for this president or his nominee. We will perform advice and consent properly and vetting that person properly as well, whoever the president chooses to be the next Attorney General. I would take a moment to discuss our ongoing efforts to advance the criminal justice reform. Many of us on this committee have worked closely together for several years on this issue to reduce crime and improve fairness in sentencing. Not too many years ago, I think a lot of people would have been surprised to see Senator Durbin and this senator on the same criminal justice bill, not to mention many others on this committee on both sides of the aisle. And we came together because we saw that the tough sentences that are part of our justice system weren't doing enough to reduce crime and fight the drug war. Far too many criminals left prison only to fall back into life at crime. And the opioid crisis began and got worse even while these tough sentencing regimes were in place. If there's anything that I've learned in government, it's that you have to be willing to face up to the facts and fix things when they're broken. And so I came to the table with Senator Durbin and a bipartisan group of colleagues. I hope I'm mentioning all of them: Cornyn, Whitehouse, Lee, Graham, Booker, Scott, and others. At various points, we all made concessions and compromises, and by and large, we stuck together to remove reforms forward. Along the way, we picked up co-sponsors and key endorsements from across the political spectrum. And we've crafted a bill that will make our criminal justice system more fair, give offenders a better chance to turn over a new leaf when they leave prison, and to reduce crime in the process. It will also allow us make better use of taxpayers' dollars, directing more resources to law enforcement and efforts to reduce crime. Yesterday, President Trump announced support for a package that reflects our fundamental shared views and goals. Leader McConnell pledged to give the package a vote if we can earn the support of 60 or more senators. Given the strong backing previous versions have received, I believe this version can easily win that support, so that Leader McConnell will bring it up. Earlier this year, when this committee marked up Sentencing Reform and Correction Act, some of this committee hesitated to support the bill because of concerns about retroactivity and whether the president would be supporting the bill. Well, with this compromise, the retroactivity is limited to the Fair Sentencing Act, which reduces the significant and unfair disparity between sentences for crack cocaine versus powder cocaine. And the president has come out in full support. As President Trump said yesterday, it is the right thing to do. It's my honor to be involved, and it will be an even greater honor to sign. And he said, beyond my quote, he said, made a reference to the fact he's got his pen ready to sign this bill. The First Step Act will put into place historic reforms, the most significant criminal justice reforms in a generation or more. I think it's significant that these reforms came out of this committee, out of so many of us in this room reaching across the aisle to accomplish something very meaningful and significant. We've crafted a bill that will make our criminal justice system more fair and our country more safe. It's probably true that each of us could find something to disagree on in this bill, or we want more in it. And I've had those discussions within the last 10 minutes. But an opportunity to pass legislation like this does so much good, does not come up very often. And when it does come up, we must join together and support it. It can require courage because it involves compromise, and some will criticize that. But bipartisan compromise is the essence of leadership in the Senate. That is how you get good things done for this country. We all love and endeavor to serve. I hope that every member of this committee will support and co-sponsor the First Step Act. I look forward to working with my committee, colleagues on this committee, and across the Senate to make these reforms a reality. If I could make a personal plea to Republicans that might consider I've gone too far in doing this, I hope you'd take into consideration that I've done a lot for the Republican majority, for this president, in moving a historic number of justices and justices through this committee, and we ought to be able to get something done that can be done in a bipartisan order. And for some Democrats, that the president might be for this. I would hope that we could see some reasonable adjustment. If we disagree with the president, we may not even like a president. But if he does something that you agree ought to be done, that you would move forward. So I would ask each Republican and Democrat to consider that this is an opportunity that you don't get very often, and we haven't had it for a generation. We have 4 pieces of legislation on today's agenda, all of which have been held over, so the following bills will be held over: S-3339, S-4232, S-4100, and Senator, now you, Senator.
Me?
Yeah.